Welcome everyone back to the channel. It's Fury here, and I am super excited about this week's character review. This one focusing on Joan. Ever since her release as a special recruitment character, Yuki has been very stingy about how we earned her copies, but now she is available through more methods. Of course, we want to look at how to best build her and be effective in PvP and PvE. So stay tuned everyone, because we're starting now.
I wanna be immortal, like a god in the sky. I wanna be a silk flower.
Alright, so here she is, finally, me especially, being able to get my hands on enough copies to finally build Joan on the main account. I hope that everyone here has been having great luck with building theirs as well. Yuki was very stingy with how we earned our Joan copies, almost never allowing anyone for the last 4 to 5 months to build her if you didn't get her initially. She's still not in cafe though, so keep an eye out for that. It should be happening sometime soon. But she is in high stake slots. You can exchange for her from the Enro exchange. You can pull her from the Enro seals and also the capsule. So I hope that everyone here gets lucky. But of course, we want to dive right into her skills and take a look at what exactly makes Joan tick. How can we make her fantastic, primarily in PvP, but also, you know, pull some juice out in PvE. So let's look at her active skill here. Mine is pumped up by the elite skill, of course, but over here in the notes I do have it. Deals 480% of her attack on 3 random targets, and these can be frontline, backline, anything as you see, and also releases all remnant after the initial hit. Now remnant will be her nice little flower petal icon. It'll show up in yellow on the character. We'll see that shortly. What this will do is almost equivalent to like Ithal's Pursue. It's 1 stack of this remnant that will then be directed towards a random enemy target and do some damage. 320 at base to be precise. Now these do not just hit the 3 random targets from the active skill. These can go on to any enemy that is still alive on that opposing team, so they're very random. It's not what we expected at first, but it kind of helps towards not directing towards one character such as Fenrir that used to be able to counter her. Remnant, of course, in and of itself also increases the damage reduction on Joan. So let's see if we have it. Each stack of remnant that Joan has increases her damage reduction by 4%. So over here I juiced up this elite skill because as a damage dealer I want Joan to be able to pump out great damage. So this is doing 520% of her attack, and each remnant when released will then do 352% of attack, which is great for the purposes that I want to use her, and which you should be using her as well, is to pump out more damage. And she's a bit more consistent than Kratos at bursting forward. So let's look at why we want more attack. This is her first passive skill, Revitalize. She increases her own HP by 30%. The crit damage stat here is increased by 40%. That is major. The attack by herself will increase up to 25%. And control immunity by 30%, just so she doesn't get stunned out in the backline or something. We want her to keep attacking. Crit damage here is the major part of why we want a high hitting active skill. That way we can work on her crit, so she's able to do extra damage, and then the crit damage stat, of course, that she pumps up by herself is also very important to look at. Let's come over here and look at her next passive skill, Oath of the Peach Garden. This one is how she assists and builds up the remnant. Whenever an ally uses an active skill or a basic attack, Joan will deal additional damage to those targets. So for example, if an Uriel single target hits an enemy, Joan will assist. If Nephilim targets 4 enemies of her active skill, Joan will assist and target all 4 of those, and will do 250% of attack damage to those targets, and then increase her own crit rate by 5% for 2 rounds. This is very nice because of that massive crit damage boost she gives herself. Building up her crit rate will make more use of that crit damage. And then simultaneously she will receive 1 stack of remnant, and here, as we looked at earlier, she'll increase her own damage reduction by 4% for each remnant that she had. So over here, we're now going to look at the last passive of Reassemble. This is when any character on any team is defeated and they go down. This includes resurrecting. She's going to heal herself 30% of her maximum HP. Now this is a big boost. It's what helps her out in the meta, as we are very sustain heavy. If we're able to burst down some enemies, and I'm mainly looking at Apate's, which is going to give her at least 2 free triggers of this ability, considering you having your own Apate and the enemy having their own Apate, for example. She'll be able to heal 30% twice at least, and then give herself 2 stacks of remnant as well. So bursting with 1 Joan or bursting with 2 Joans will be very nice for building up a lot of remnant early. And if she's taking damage, say for example from Vivian's marks, she'll be able to keep herself alive until she's able to then deploy the active skill. So this is all good. We're really focusing on Joan being a major force for dealing damage. How can we get that out? First, let's look at the PvP side of things. For her gear here, I haven't really built up a warrior set, but the one I do have a 1-star, I'm giving it to her. This is just going to increase her stats nicely, give her extra attack, give her some damage reduction, and some more HP. Over here, I'm having her rolling at around the 6 million HP mark. But the gear set is focusing on protection, and this leads into my antique choice and crystal choice. The crystal is set to crit rate and crit damage, as well as with the extra attack. I have it at Dragon Jade 6 because, who can afford all these chisels that Yuki wants us to put into the Nebula cores? For real. But over here, crit and crit damage, this makes use of her own buildup of crit rate, as well as the crit damage she gives herself. So when we look at the attributes over here, I'm rolling with a 40% crit rate that she boosts herself, as well as this crit damage that's around 92%, which for PvP helps her active skill really do some damage. And since her remnant, when they are released in the active skill, can also crit, this helps it out a lot. That nice 1-to-2 ratio is something I was aiming for, and then the attack here being at around 150,000 mark is a solid one to aim for. As you note here, the antique helps play into this, because if she did not have some sort of damage depletion or damage reduction, which is not as helpful right now, damage depletion at least helps her stay out on the field, because this crystal doesn't give her any HP or speed to really deploy first. She's usually fighting last. So the attack percentage helps build up on the attack amount that she'll use for crit and crit damaging, and then the HP and damage depletion is what keeps her alive long enough to then deploy these active skills. You'll notice that energy reducing is a very big thing right now with Vivian's and Apate's. Joan may go a few rounds without using any active skills, although she will build up remnant, and we want her to stay alive even if it's up to around 5, 6, 7 that she finally uses an active skill in some cases, that she then deploys it and is still alive to then release the remnant. So this is something that I found to be the most balanced. Added protection, adding more damage depletion to this amount here of 25% is very strong. A free-to-play option would be to use Queen's Crown in this position. You will most likely not be facing a ton of Nephilums and Vivians at that rate, so people deploying Kratos's rogues and their own Joans against you you'll see more of an impact with Queen's Crown, giving her more HP, giving her more damage reduction. You can also use Black Magic Hat, Umbrella, anything that would just give her more HP to stay alive, and the damage reduction as well in those cases. Also works well versus PvE bosses, but we'll get to that shortly. Attack Antiques, if you're trying to go for a super aggressive route, you can then use something like Thorn's Heart. We'll just drop that on here for her. Looks like we're about to just time out. We'll let that load in the meantime. You can use your Thorn's Heart, which will give her that crit, more attack. You can use your Soul Destruction, which again will give her some crit damage, some more attack, some precision. Because you may notice that when Joan hits against a Fenrir, although this was patched, the Fenrir will no longer block and then trigger her damage, but she will still trigger on the assist. So when an ally uses a basic or active skill, Joan will follow up. If she hits the Fenrir, that will get blocked, so keep an eye out for that. Having precision is what helps sort of mitigate that some more. So you can use your Soul Destruction in PvP, but then you would have to use something defensively like a speed HP, holy damage HP on your crystal. I go full attack and then just use some sort of HP or damage reduction antique. So definitely keep an eye on that. We'll keep the Thorn's Heart on for now. Let's look at the PvE setups. You can, just rest easy with your crit damage and crit rate crystal for PvE. You can also consider using precision attack or attack, depending on how much you're going to put in with the antique. And again, for those super aggressive PvP builds, just roll them on over to your PvE. Use Thorn's Heart, use your Wings of Icarus, your Soul Destruction, your Swiss Army Knife, anything that gives her more crit to then feed off of this crit damage she gives herself will be incredible. With my Thorn's Heart now, I'm critting 55% of the time and doing 142% crit damage. That is a stat that I love. So she's doing fantastic. How much is precision at? 0? That's fine. And armor break, she doesn't give herself much, but do look that she does have a skin. We'll put it on here for her. Gives her HP, more attack, and damage reduction, so it's a solid one to look at. Here next, we do want to look at her potentials. For PvP, I had her at both HP because it just helps feed into how much she'll heal. 30% of her max HP is built up by this stat. I tend to use this for Playground or Ultimate League, sometimes Varsity. But in like single combat, like Elite League JV, I kind of mix them. Give her a good balance of that attack and HP. Use Backwaters because she'll normally be taking a lot of damage, being the last girl to attack. So doing 12% extra when attacking tanky enemies with higher HP, it's quite nice. I'll take that. Baptism, because you do not want her linked up by Nephilim's marks. You don't want her sealed by Uriel. You don't want her stunned or crystallized. Use Baptism. Over here for PvP, of course, your shield. For PvE though, go full attack. I'm gonna be attacking this guild boss 61, so using coordination will just let her crits or non-crits do more damage. So why not? We'll stick it out with that for now. For her elite skills, I of course maxed out the first one, Piercing Petals, because that just increases the active skill total damage and the remnant total damage for each. But as a damage dealer, you want to make sure that she increases her output. So next up, I would do Oath of Peach Garden so that her assists also do more damage. And then her healing would be a solid one to look at after. This one, I believe, increases it up to 35%, which is not bad. You can go with that. 35% of max HP is still very solid. And then down here, Revitalize would probably be the last one I do, just to increase her attack by a little bit and her total HP by a little bit as well. 20%, 33%. So, definitely prioritize the first one, Piercing Petals, first. You want her to do more damage. And I didn't give her an Oath Ring. That'll give her more attack for sure, but that's what we'll set on for now. So that's what we have for you on her setup side. Let's look at some PvE modes first. There'll be PvP battles towards the end here. So first, with her Thorns Hard, crit rate, attack builds, let's see what we can do in Guild Boss. Over here, I save these battles for now. We'll do 2 Kratoses and Izanami in the front for some healing. We'll put up our... Do we want Raphael for attack boosts? Phylum? Sure, let's just go with that. We'll just, you know, watch a few battles here. We'll watch a few rounds and then, you know, just skip towards the end and see how it's playing out for sure. This load time is slow. Okay, so I tend to make Izanami just go fast so she puts up some shields. So here we see the yellow little markings on Joan is how much remnant she's stacked up. You can see she's assisting her allies whenever they target the boss. But since it's only one boss, each target is just giving her 1 remnant. But we're making her go slow. There goes Kratos, taking the boss down a little bit. I tend to like to leave Joan be the last one to attack so that when she uses her active, she at least will have 6 from the first one. So, no, she doesn't assist herself, so 5. And then 5 more, so she'll at least 10 remnant when she goes in round 2. Let's see, we took a huge chunk out of the boss. We're already up to the level 7 one. And at the end of round 3. Kratos is just helping it build up. We'll see her active skill one more time. With this skin, she throws up her little fan and then releases all the remnant. So let's see how this plays out. We want to see it one more time. We're on level 8 right now. Goes. And all those remnant were critting, as you saw there. So up to level 9. Okay, so I need to do some tinkering. Right now we got just under $500 million. See how much she did. She tends to be the highest one for me, but this time she just, you know, sat in the back. I've actually gone up to almost 800 million before, but I'm just using the other setups. Raphael didn't do much there. Let's try it without Raphael and just with another Nephilim. Just go with that. We'll skip this one though. We don't want to watch the whole thing. But there you get an idea that she's following up with all of her allies' basic and active skills, building up her remnant, and then hitting the boss for a solid amount. Let's go again. This one was over that $500 million. Let's see how she did. Ooh. These Kratoses are running with it versus his boss this time. Okay. She typically puts up more than the Kratoses when I'm running in here. I don't know what's happening in this test. Alright. We'll keep that up though. I might just show a screenshot of the other one. Damage of thorns. Maybe I should have been using something else. I don't know. Okay, next we want to look at Sanctuary. So for that, I will definitely need my shields. Let's see. Shields on her. One shield on Kratos. Kratos are running thorns and armor break, by the way. Give her shield again. And I believe the Nephilims need it too. Just because the Sanctuary boss in later levels just starts hitting so hard. Oh man. We're not going to use Raphael versus that boss this time. We'll just use Izanami. Make sure she's geared up properly. We'll give her some like HP mix. Oh nice, one more set. Actually, let's take the gear off one of the Vivians. Here, let's look for Izanami. I kind of want her to clear off stuns in case any of our allies get stunned up. So I use like a full Neutron Blade build here, so that she stuns the boss. And she's definitely going to be the fastest on our PvE squad here. So let's go straight into our Sanctuary mode. I already did the PvP side. We don't need to see that. So we'll battle. Take out Raphael, put in this other Nephilim, put our Kratos' front line, use Robert. And we have Dual Blade, Immunity, and Multicast set up here. So let's see how this goes. Everyone's pretty well set up. Our Joan with Thorns, with Crit. Okay, yeah, let's go. Let's just go with that. The first few rounds here are going to be a little grindy, sure, but we'll at least see how she's doing towards the later half of Sanctuary, for sure. Yo, leave down in the comments though, do you guys like playing with the audio on, or do you prefer listening to the characters yell out their lines whenever they go to attack or at the beginning of a match? Me personally, I'll just say that I like listening to their battle cries and battle calls. But of course I don't want to conflict with it, so I have it off for now. But I'm curious, you know, leave it down in the comments. I want to hear about that. So here they are. The boss is terrorized. I don't know if that'll really do much since, you know, we never see an energy bar on him. But the Kratoses are in the front, you know, doing their thing. Joan so far, she used an active skill already, so she's up to 5-6 remnant. Here we go. Got some holy damage. Hoping here that Izanami deploys her shields again, because this boss starts hitting real hard at the higher levels. Round 4 for level 13 is not too bad. We're still doing. Joan took a huge chunk off of him that time. These multicast and double strikes here, or dual blade I mean, coming in real handy. So I haven't seen that terror mark come off the boss yet, so let's see how this goes. And the Phylum just stunned herself. Look at her just, you know, in midair. Alright, so Kratos did an active. Will she do it again? Oh no, just once. 14 million, not a bad chunk. Izanami's just been stunned all this time, but you know, so is the boss now. Oh, there goes Joan. Doing a solid 4 million per hit on those remnant, thanks to all that crit. We're at 35 now on round 7 on the 15th level boss. Izanami petrified him. Looking good, looking good. And she's at 10 remnant right now. Oh, 12 now. Okay. That's a nice solid stack up. Let's see if these Kratoses can help us get to the 65 million mark. But whenever you're bringing your own Joan in, you know, feel free to use your Thorn's Heart, your Soul Destructions, even your Swiss Army Knife for this. If you want to be a little cheeky and use Umbrella so she doesn't get stunned, because you'll notice if Joan gets stunned, she will not assist, she will not build up any remnant, and, you know, delaying her active skill is also not good. We want her to keep hitting. So that control immunity is very important for Joan. Luckily, she builds some up with her own kit. What I do notice in the higher levels here is that when the Kratos is attacked, the boss's counter attack takes chunks off their HP. So this Kratos attacking, you look at her HP just went down when she attacked. So we want this boss to hit. She did double, so that triggered her shield. Not good. But here at least, because the Nami shields are up, the Kratos will then heal up full when this boss hits. So we're past the 16 level. See if we can break 1 billion in this attack. Joan looks to have 15 remnant. Let's see how she does. Oh, our Kratos just got nuked there. Wow, she had a shield, but you know, she got hit by those marks. That's not good. That's not what I wanted to see, but okay, it is what it is. Ooh, you know, this is a good solid climb. Okay. Joan was doing good. She got multicast off, but you know, once she uses that first round of remnant, she's not going to be able to then deploy the same amount because of a second active skill. She'll just have like one. Okay, so that's solid. Oh, we broke 1 billion, so we're looking good so far. This is very solid. It's a shame that we lost one of our Kratoses. There goes Joan again with another one. 1.25 billion, not bad. This won't reach my record so far. It's like 1.5 billion at the moment. But wow, that Nephilim is faster than the Izanami. Interesting. I think this was very solid for the performance this time around. Just seeing Joan go off. One of our Kratoses at least survived to help carry the damage. I would still say Kratos is a must for Sanctuary. She will be the one that really drives you to the higher levels because of that extra HP damage she does. But Joan tends to shred through the early side of Sanctuary, so you'll get up at least to your 15th little gift box. So let's see how this went down. Here we saw much better performance from Joan. I don't know why she was slacking in Guild Boss 61. But here she was the top damage dealer, outpacing the Kratos. And that's just with all that crit and crit damage that she saw. So it was exciting to see. Did she heal? Not much. But Izanami is what keeps us in the battle this long, because that boss just hits hard. You saw Kratos just get nuked from full HP. Kratos over here did much more of the healing. You know, this one was doing more of that HP damage to heal back. This Kratos was just slacking around. But this is awesome. I'm happy to see these kind of numbers from Joan. Alright, and next, of course, some folks want to use their Joans in Security Squad. I'm already up to level 40. So let's see how we can do. We'll just keep our Kratoses in this way. We want to keep our shields, sure. Shields, sure. We'll use Izanami. And this one we'll have to use Apate. But do I want Fate Crystal? No. We'll just use Echoes. Why not? More attack. Give her more attack. Sure. And this Apate is going to be rolling with, you know, a very solid amount of attack. And for Joan, see here. We don't really need baptism for these. So what I tend to like to do. Let's just give them all healing. How about that? Don't worry guys, this video is going to last a little bit, but you know, we want to see how good our Joans can perform in all these modes. So we'll just take the time here, make it a slightly longer than usual video as we set these girls up. So that's going to be 2 Kratoses, Izanami, Apate, which are required now for Sanctuary. We'll use our Joan, and then we'll take an Nephilim in there. Why not? This one won't be too bad, because at least it can then be petrified or something. We'll just use Dawn. Yeah, that should be fine. Just switch her over to heal. Alright, let's go over here. Security Squad. I already did 2 attacks. You know, we just got to maintain ourselves now that we're at 40. Yuki, when are you going to give us some more levels? Come on. We'll have Apate in the front. We'll take that Nephilim out. Put in another Kratos. Take out Raphael. Put in Izanami. And I guess we can use Robert. Yeah, sure, let's do it. So this is really going to depend on whether or not Apate can mark the boss in round 2. If she fails, we're probably going to just get wiped out. So it's not bad. Let's check it out. Seeing weather we got as well. I didn't see what it was. We'll just come back to that here in a moment. Alright, so Apate steals the boss's energy real quick. Wow, got the fool. Yeah, that was not good. At least he's marked. But yeah, our shields are triggered. That's not what we wanted. Maybe we should have had her use energy this time around. We do not want him to clear that mark off. Or crit, his energy will go down. Come on. Go Kratos, crit that guy. Yes, his energy depleted. Alright, Apate's doing solid work of keeping his energy down. Our Joan over here is up to our 7 Remnant. The boss is now terrorized, so he's not going to be attacking us. This is an interesting combo for any of you looking out there to pass Sanctuary real quick. Oh, wow, alright. Apate there, let me just interrupt that. Marked him and took his energy back down to 0. But for any of you who are looking to really make an impact in Sanctuary with your squads, Apate and Izanami are a great combo. The shields help avoid annihilation, and Apate just keeps the boss's energy down to 0, so, you know, get the shield up, and the annihilation will not go through. And then if you have Kratos as well, he gets terrorized with 0 energy, good luck. That boss is not hitting you at all. You're just going to sit here and take him down the whole way. Alright, so there goes Joan still just earning 1 remnant at a time because just 1 boss, 1 target. If we had mob bosses where like this boss had like some minions in front of him, that wouldn't be too bad. Wow, we just got wiped there. Looks like Apate just failed to stop him. from this point on, it's just going to be a bit of a sweat. We're not going to be able to do much damage back, but 8 rounds worth of damage. Let's see how we did. Joan did a solid amount of work here, but I think I need to bring energy here first so that he gets marked round 1 and then energy drained round 2. That's what I'll have to do here. Goes to show you that I don't really attack this boss anymore since we've been at 40 for a while, but the Kratoses did a solid amount. Let's see what the total was on Sunny. 15%. That wasn't solid for that was solid for 8 rounds, but probably could have wiped them out if we prioritized the order a bit better. Alright. So there's going to be a quick little clip that'll show a full PvP battle. You're going to be noticing that having your Joan on your PvP team versus multiple Vivians, which brings me to my last point here, it's going to be interesting with how the interaction goes. Vivians love to strip energy from your girls, and since Joan needs her active skill to really do her damage, being stripped at the end of every round, at the end of every round is a bit difficult for getting her there. But you'll notice that Vivians love to target the front 1 spot with their basic attack, and that basic attack does almost nothing. So if you put your Joan in front 1 position, most teams anyways with front 1 attacks, you may have to worry about like what, an Amelia, maybe Mio, maybe who is it, Valera. Those are some cases where you want to have your Joan in the back. But versus Vivians and Aphylums, put your Joan up in the front. Vivians will strip her energy and then hit her, because Joan will likely be going last at all times. She'll build up her energy back up real quick, and then you can just deploy that active skill. Nice little trick that I was observing when I was trying it out this way. And then Joan trying to precisely wreck Vivians is really good, because Vivians, they'll do damage to your team through the link, even if it's lethal to them. So with Remnant here, Joan will do this massive 528% of attack with elite skill, and then the remnants will then distribute among all the still living characters on the enemy team. Once it hits those Vivians, Joan will then precisely remove them and not have to overshoot them, potentially killing your own girls through the link. So that's just something, hopefully Yuki addresses that in the future, but for now, Joan is still the best burst character we have. Using Kratos as your DPS is good damage over time. When you start reaching those round 10, round 12, round 15 battles, you'll see your Kratos doing more damage in that respect. But Joan will be able to finish the battles much quicker. I have battles that end by round 4 or 5, just because she just swings and sweeps the enemy's team with these remnants pretty early. So I hope you really enjoyed this video and you got some ideas of how to build your Joan for your team. Of course, if you have any questions on how to set them up or how to set up the current squad just to best assist your Joan, please feel free to leave that down in the comments. I love hearing what you guys have to say and what your goals are for your team, whether that be PvP, someone that's probably just bullying you in League, we can work on that, or if you want to have some high damage numbers in PvE versus some bosses. I want to hear all of it. So of course, drop a like, subscribe to the video if you found it helpful, and remember guys, happy gaming.
今度はどんな冒険が待っているのでしょう。お星様、どうか私を導いてください。少し本気を出すわ。私の歌声で踊りなさい。問答無用、カオス殲滅。お星様、どうか私を導いてください。
日の光のもと懺悔するがいい。お星様、どうか私を導いてください。少し本気を出すわ。二十歳の歌声で踊りなさい。お星様、どうか私を導いてください。